Hi, I'm Dr. Rosario. Today we will talk about common injuries, starting with cuts and scrapes. Most minor injuries like small cuts and scrapes don't really require a visit to the doctor, while more severe injuries might require stitches or other medical treatment. So let's go over some first aid measures you can do to take care of your kids at home if they get injured, and also discuss when it's appropriate to seek medical care. First of all, for any open wound, what's the best way to clean it? Sometimes parents tell me that they used hydrogen peroxide to clean their child's wounds, but this is actually not necessary. Antiseptic solutions like hydrogen peroxide aren't very helpful in getting rid of extra bacteria, and some can actually cause allergic skin reactions. It's also quite painful when hydrogen peroxide is poured into a wound, so for those reasons, I don't recommend that it be used. The best way to clean a wound is to just rinse it off with water. If a lot of dirt or debris is present, you can add a mild soap and rinse it off thoroughly. Otherwise, using plain tap water to clean off a wound is perfectly good enough. Once the wound is rinsed off, take a closer look at the injury. For small cuts and scrapes with only minor bleeding, all you really need to do is apply a topical antibiotic ointment and cover it with a Band-Aid or gauze. But for larger or deeper wounds that involve more bleeding, you should apply firm, steady pressure with gauze or a clean cloth. Keep it on for a full 5 minutes and don't remove it during this time to check if it's still bleeding. If possible, raise the affected body part above the level of the heart. If you can't stop the bleeding after 5 minutes of steady pressure, or if a wound looks large or deep, you should bring your child in for immediate medical care. Deeper cuts will often require stitches, and stitches generally will need to be placed within 24 hours of the injury. You should also bring your child in for the following: if something is stuck in the wound, if the injury involved a puncture wound, like a nail or other sharp object, if the injury was caused by an animal bite or human bite. Lastly, as a wound is healing, keep an eye out for signs of infection. This includes fever, worsening redness, swelling, or pus from the wound. If your child shows any of these symptoms, they may need to be prescribed antibiotics. It's also important to keep your child updated on their tetanus vaccine. Tetanus is a serious infection that can occur when a certain type of bacteria grows in a contaminated wound. So if your child has a deep cut or puncture wound and it's been over 5 years since their last tetanus shot, or if you don't recall how long it's been, see your doctor and find out if a tetanus booster is needed. Next week, we'll go into more detail about other kinds of injuries and discuss sprains and fractures. For Pediatric Minute, I'm Dr. Del Rosario.